when you was talking about growing up, you didn't have, you know, like you didn't have a butt or whatever. What do we do? You know, a lot of times men be like, oh man, I ain't, like, well, she ain't got no ass. She ain't got this. She ain't got, or, oh, look at that ass. You see Taj, like, look at that ass, man. Look at how, we overly sexualize our Black women, especially models in a sense, because y'all are meant to be seen. But for a lot of men, we don't just necessarily see the beauty. I'm just being honest here. A lot of us see, oh, damn, that's somebody I want to bag. So what's the sexualization like being a model in this industry, especially being a Black model?
Ooh, what a question. There is so much there.
It's loaded.
There is. I love it. It's super layered. I would say one of the things that can help to change it, I guess I'll start with the positive, is just understanding that women are not purely their bodies and what the bodies can do for you. So, you know, sometimes men are looking at, okay, I want this girl with the weave. I want this girl that's thinner, who dresses like this, who does that, because why? She's going to be a trophy on my arm. I'm going to bring her into a room and everyone's going to look at her and say, wow, she looks good. I want to be him because he has that girl. I've even felt like that in some of my relationships where men only wanted me because they knew other people were going to find me attractive. They knew that I was going to show up and act a certain way and look a certain way. And I would say it's on the other end. Don't look at our curvier, women, our curvier sisters and think, ooh, I could do this, 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 and this with her. Like, well, what else can you do with her? Can you talk with her? Can you communicate with her? I think it's understanding that attraction needs to be more than just neck down and what that looks like. So yeah, I'll just start off with that and I'll let Taz take over because that was very loaded.
I definitely agree with everything you said. And I feel like also on the curvier spectrum of things, exactly, it's like super hypersexualized, like what you were saying, what could I do with her? Blah, blah, blah. And I think also Black media in general, and I just think media, not just Black media in general always hypersexualizes dark-skinned Black women. Like I remember growing up, always looking for someone that looked like me. And it wasn't really until I saw Lupita that I was like, oh, hey, that's someone that looks like me that hasn't been hypersexualized. Because growing up, it was always the dark-skinned girls, with the oil all over their bodies, with the short shorts, the thong showing, like that very sexualized image. And it's like, we are more, yes, this images were fire or whatever, but it's like, we're more than just our bodies. You have Black women that are entrepreneurs, intelligent, and sometimes like Black women, we can't help the way that we're shaped. Like there's no way that I could ever be skinny. That's just the way that I'm made. So I'm always gonna have, a little bit extra on my body, but that doesn't mean that you could hypersexualize me because I have so much more to offer than just, a pretty face and a nice body. There's so many layers to me as a person. And I just feel like as Black women, a lot of the times people don't even bother to delve into the layers because it's just like, they just see it as a sexual object. And it just gets very frustrating being in an industry that kind of perpetuates that idea as well.
Exactly.
I think it's interesting what you just said there because, a lot of times people look at the modeling industry and they just see a pretty face and they don't think about the brains. They just think that y'all are just pretty girls, don't talk, just be arm candy. That's what you hear a lot of times as a model. You're arm candy. Right. Not about the brains. And Tasha, I think you was going to go to law school before you became a model.
I am in law school. I have 4 subjects and I'm a lawyer.
I love it. You both wanted to be lawyers. You both awesome. That's what I'm talking about. So that needs to be brought up a little bit more. But Donny, let's be honest, man. It's something about this. Can we be real? We're going to be real tonight, right?
Let's do it. We got to.
There's for men, a lot of times for men, just being straight up, there's something that goes along with a title when a woman has a title, like Laker girl, cheerleader, or somebody like that, supermodel. You know what I mean? There's that title kind of asks you, you're already pretty, but when you add that title to a woman's name, man, it's almost like, that resume kind of gets a little thicker because all of a sudden, guess what? You're the man like Donny dating a supermodel, dog. You know what I'm saying? Right, instead of just a model or a pretty girl, that's a model. She a cover girl.
Yeah.
It's something different.
Yeah, you're right. But I like round the way girls. So, I understand though, you give that man that title, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool. You know what I mean? For the insecure cat, but
right.
It is what it is.
But I'm talking about like for the ladies. So like, it's like, it becomes almost like, instead of like somebody looking at you for the person,
right,
they look at you for the title. And I know sometimes it's for the men too. You can be an athlete and a woman can be dating an athlete. Oh, she dated a Laker. You know what I mean? So I know it goes back both ways.
And I think sometimes you become something that's fetishized. And I think we have to take a moment to talk about the pressures that Black men also face, and the ways that they have to fit inside of a box. So I know a lot of times, there are Black men out here who have loved the Lizzos, and they would never show that they love a Lizzo. They would never probably go out in public or publicly date someone as beautiful and as amazing as Lizzo because of what are their friends going to think, or what are the people in the environment going to think. And so I think one thing that's important is when we're talking about being a stereotype, we have to look at how are Black men equally stereotyped. And they have to be athletic, like if you're a light-skinned Black man, people are going to look at you as soft. If you're a dark-skinned Black man, you need to be swole, you need to be an athlete. And so it's like there's so many different ways that media has kind of pitted us against each other. Black women, you need to be super sexy, or what are we going to do with you? Black men, you need to be very swole and fit this narrative. And I think that has harmed our communities when we're not able to look at people and think beyond that, because yes, I'm beautiful. Yes, you can take me into a space and I'm going to be able to communicate with people. But what happens when it's just me and you at home? Can we talk? Can we communicate? What does our family structure look like? Am I all about how I look? Do I have brains? Am I a lawyer, a baddie like Taz? It's important to look at what else our partners are giving to us beyond just their looks.
Yeah. I mean, I learned a lot from, watching, models in the industry or whatever. Tyra Banks obviously is doing well for herself, Dancing with the Stars. She's done great as a supermodel, but she started that reality show, America's Next Top Model. As models, seeing that and seeing what they have to go through, like you're talking about cutting your hair, and they're always being judged. Is that good? Is that positive or negative for women, shows like that?
I think they're realistic. And I think, recently Tyra Banks has gotten a lot of backlash for some of the things she said on the show and some of the ways she's acted. And I think she was preparing the women. It's almost like you're trying to get into the Army, you go through boot camp. You can't be mad at the commander for saying, no, do the push-ups, do this, do that. She was trying to prepare these women for this harsh industry that is only going to give you one try. You have to come in, you have to look perfect, you have to present yourself well. If not, next. There's 500 other people outside who want to be here. And so I think she prepared people. And I definitely watched it growing up and didn't realize the weight of it as I do now. But yeah.
Yeah, she good.
And I think we could,
go ahead, Tash.
I feel like we could look back at it now, 5-10 years or whatever later, and we could see from the industry now and what the social norms are now, we could be like, that wasn't right. But for the time, I don't think, she was literally just giving them a crash course on what it's really going to be like to be a model. And I think times have changed since then, but you still have to have a thick skin if you want to be a model. And that's what I tell anyone who asks me, what should I do to prepare to be a model? She's like, just have a thick skin. You can't take anything personally, because if you do, you're going to quit after 2 weeks, I promise.
Yeah, well, we live in a politically correct society now, so anything that happened 15 still could be going on. And Tyra's taking you behind the curtain, so to speak, and you saw that, and now you're going to look, hindsight being 2020, revisionist history, which it still goes on in the industry. It's just that Tyra Banks on America's Next Top Model and shows like that actually put it to the forefront, and now she's being criticized. But like you said, I think it prepared you guys for that. Final thing before we get up out of here. There are a lot of women, young ladies, Black ladies that want to be in the industry, that want to be a model, whether it be an Instagram model or a runway model or a plus size model. What piece of advice would you give them if they're trying to get started in the industry?
I would probably give them 3 pieces of advice. So 1, like you said, have tough skin, period. You have to be prepared for anything. 2, don't give up. Be willing to adapt. Be willing to learn and evolve. And 3, find an amazing agency. Find an amazing advocate. I have an awesome mother agency, Maggie Agency in Boston, and they have just changed my mind, my life in terms of modeling. So find good people that are going to care about you, that aren't going to want you to starve yourselves, and that are going to really support your dreams.
Okay. What about you, Tash?
Yeah, I'll pretty much second all of that. And I would add, don't change yourself for any agency. The right agency is going to want you the way that you are. And that's what I found. It was my choice to cut my hair. My agency suggested it. They said, you could cut it if you want. If you don't want to, we're still going to sign you. But it was my choice. And I feel like the right agency will accept you however you are. And it should always feel like it's your choice to make certain decisions. So that's the one. The girls that want to get into modeling are quite young. So I was really young, and I was in a whole different country getting signed. So I didn't have my parents around me or anything. So you just have to stand your ground and just, don't change yourself to fit the industry. The industry will always mold to you.
Good advice. Good advice. Donny could give some advice too. I don't know if y'all knew this or not, but back in the day, Donny used to be a model as well. So see that smile right there? Yeah. Calvin Klein, baby.
Yeah.
The underwear model. Can you see Donny in the underwear?
Calvin Klein for sure. Absolutely.
You see Calvin Klein? You see Calvin Klein?
I see it.
Oh, baby. You was in that Calvin Klein voice showing up.
So full of it. No, I wasn't. Not full of
Living in the tidy whities.
I'm dead.